It is 5 o'clock. That means Cocktails in the Kitchen episode 6 is gonna start. So welcome everyone. Welcome to Cocktails in the Kitchen. My name is Tyron Francisca. I'm one of the trainers of the Bulls Bartending Academy. And today I'll want to make 2 cocktails with you and talk a little bit of a spirit that I like a lot, which is rum. Now, before I start the episode, I do want to also mention that, again, bartenders, we keep you in mind with these difficult times, also with the COVID-19 virus, and that the hospitality has closed down, not only in where we're located in Holland, but a lot of other countries also. So anyone, if you happen to have, if you want to join us with a cocktail kitchen and tell your story also, bartenders, please by all means leave a comment, let us know, and we'll make it happen also for you guys. So, rums. Well, I'm going to talk today about just a tiny little bit about rums. Now, what is a rum? A rum is like a tequila, a vodka, a gin, like other spirits. It is a distillate. Yeah, it is a distillate made from sugar cane, basically. Not cane sugar, but sugar cane. Now, if you're thinking what is a distillate, first you have to understand the principles of what alcohol is. Now, there's only one way you can get alcohol, and that's via fermentation. Now, what is fermentation? Fermentation is a natural process where yeast converts sugars, natural sugars obviously, in 3 things: alcohol, CO2, carbon dioxide, and in this whole process a little bit of heat is released. Now, for us in the alcohol industry, well, heat and CO2 for a spirit, it's not that important. The important part for us is the alcohol. That's that base for any spirit that you want to create. Now, to make a spirit, a fermentation is not enough. Because fermentation, you can get a maximum, correct me if I'm wrong anyone, but I think between 15 to 18 to 20% max. Now, if you want something which is way higher in percentage, you have to distill it. Now, what's distillation? Distillation is the concentration of alcohol by heating something up or freezing it or cooling it down. In the alcohol industry, commonly used is heating something up, and you do that in a pot still or a continuous still. Now, the distillation process was invented way before us. 721 before Christ, there was this Persian alchemist, and his name was Khabir, and Khabir invented a system to purify his water or his alcohol or whatever. And he did it by inventing a closed circuit system where he heated the liquid up and he collected those first vapors, the alcohol vapors, and condensed it again. Now, what came out, the distillate was basically stronger than what he started off with, but not only that, it was lighter of flavor and it was colorless, because colors are heavy molecules, so they stay behind in the initial pot still. So if you do that more and more and more and more, so whatever you distilled, you take it out, you put it back in, you distill it again, and do it back and forth, you keep raising the amount of alcohol, and you keep ending up having a lighter and lighter type of spirit. Now, inefficiently, it was done back in the earlier days. If you wanted to get something of high proof, of high percentage alcohol, you have to take it out and put it back in the pot still, and clean the pot still, and redistill, blah, 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 blah. It can take days to come up to a high percentage alcohol. So there was this one gentleman, a Irishman, Rum Coffee. He patented the modern columns there, a coffee still, as you like to know it. It's a distillation process where you can efficiently distill up to a higher percentage. Now, why am I telling you this for when I'm talking about rums? Because commonly known that a lot of rums in the world are also distilled using a continuous distillation method. Rums can be either distilled using a pot still or a continuous distillation, but if you want a rum which is more full body, you distill to a lower percentage, so commonly used a pot still. If you want a rum that is of higher percentage, or a lighter style rum, then you typically can do it also in a column still. So the rum that I have today that I'm gonna make the cocktail with is a aged rum. It's a Dominican rum. It's called Brugal Añejo. It's aged for a couple of years also, and I use this to make a cocktail called the Daiquiri. And you might wonder, but Ty, everywhere I read, the Daiquiri is with white or light rum. Yes, a typical Daiquiri, a common Daiquiri is made with white rum. But the beauty of making a Daiquiri with aged rum is that it brings a little more body also to the cocktail, a little depth, a little molasses, a little golden type. So rums, you can make it in, there's two ways you can make rum, as they're either using a byproduct of the sugar making industry, which is called molasses. It's kind of like this treacle, caramel type substance, and what you can expect from a rum flavor if you make it from molasses also is again that caramel, buttery type of flavors also. Or you can choose to make a rum from freshly fermented sugarcane juice. And obviously because sugarcane, that's a plant, you can expect vegetal, grassy-like flavors from your rums. The rum I have for you today, the Brugal, I'm gonna make a Daiquiri with this one, which is a molasses type of rum. Now, how do you make a Daiquiri? One of the most famous cocktails in the world. It's a nice cocktail on a refreshing day, on a warm day to refresh you up. But it's basically these different recipes, and I like to use the recipe which is 60, 30, 15, or 2, 1, half. 60 mils of rum, so 2 parts of rum, 30 mils of lime juice, so 1 part of lime juice, and 15 mils or half part of sugar syrup. It's a shaken cocktail, so you shake it with ice and then you strain it out in a glass. Now, I understand that you're at home, so if you don't happen to have these beautiful coupes or martini glasses or whatever, do it in a rocks glass. Who cares? You're at home, nobody's watching, you know? So I'm gonna do it in this beautiful coupe. Made some ice at home myself, and I'm gonna pre-chill it. And I'm gonna work in the shaker because it is a shaken cocktail. Now, if you followed or took or checked on one of our previous episodes, I've mentioned also during this episode that when you shake a cocktail, you want to start with ingredients first. See, when you shake a cocktail, you want to achieve 3 things. You want to mix those ingredients properly, you want to chill those ingredients properly, and you want to dilute enough, because dilution is important for opening up flavors of your drinks. So always start with ingredients first, and only when you're done and ready to shake, then you add your ice and shake it up. Yeah? So I'm gonna start off with my rum, 60 mils of this beautiful rum. And if you don't have this beautiful jigger or a measuring cup also, if you don't have this beautiful jigger, you can check a measuring cup or any other thing. Because eyeballing 60 mils, not sure. So if you don't have one, make sure you have one of these. Get one of these or buy a measuring cup. So 60 mils right there. Now you need some lime juice. So freshly squeezed lime juice. I always get a question also, hey Ty, can you use like concentrated lime juice or lime concentrate? Preferably not. Just use fresh lime juice. It's way better, fuller body also, and it's way nicer in your cocktail. So I'm gonna squeeze that. I need 30 mils of that. If it fits, big lime. There you go. It's a juicy lime also, so it's big. 30 mils. And I also need 15 mils of sugar syrup. Also mentioned in a previous episode how I made my sugar syrup. This one is 2 to 1, 2 kilos of sugar, 1 liter of water. Stir it down, bring it to, not reduce, don't bring it to a boil, but let it dissolve, and that is it. So the other side, 15 mils of that. And then we're ready to shake. So again, 60, 30, 15. It's as simple as that. It's not too difficult. So ice it up. And yes, I know, ice with your hands, blah, blah, blah. I'm at home. So ice it up. Ice is your best friend. So use as much as possible. Treat your friend right. So treat your ice right also, right? Close it up. Good tap and shake for 10 seconds roughly. Cool. Okay, so I always get the question, and last episode we also had someone who wanted to know how. So for you, this answer, how do I open the shaker basically? Okay, so I see the shaker as my own body. I have a beautiful belly. I don't have a belly. And I have a back, I have a spine. So the shaker also. Now, when you seal the shaker, you always want to seal it on an angle. Yeah? So you can open it up easily. So there's always one open side and one straight side. See that? One open side and one straight side. Same shape of your body. Open side, belly, belly up front. Straight side, your spine, your back, towards the back. Grab it on the ribs, so both shakers on one hand. And with your other hand, you tap the top of the large shaker. Left, you can hear it, clip. And if not, a couple of more times, opens up. So again, I can seal it as hard as possible. If I keep hitting here, it's not gonna open easily. It will open eventually, tomorrow somewhere, but just turn it around, spine towards the back, open side, belly up front, grab it on the ribs, one side, left, right, done. That's it. Okay, so, smells good. Ice can get out of there. And strain it out. Now, because of shaking it, there's always these fine ice particles that stay behind the ice shards. Don't really want to do that in my cocktail. I don't have it at home, so boo-hoo, I'm just gonna single strain it. And as a garnish, still has the lime, a nice lime rim. Doesn't want to sit. A lime wheel. Ooh, it's not the best lime, but hey, it works. Hang that in there. That's my daiquiri for you with gold rum. Now it's a little too full, so tiny little bit less, no problem. But I'm just gonna drink it the Dutch way, which is slurping. So hands behind my back. Slurp the head off, and the rest, the remaining, I can drink. That's pretty good. It's a pretty nice drink. So again, you can play around with your rums. I mean, every rum is different, different styles. You have aged rum, you have light rum, you have your rum agricole. Yeah. So all these different styles of rum will have different impact, different flavors. Aging, years it's been aged also will have a more deeper barrel flavor. So baking spices, cinnamon, cloves, vanilla, you name it. Lighter rums will bring you a little more alcohol to it. A little lighter flavor also, so play with these different types of rums in order to get the best flavor of the daiquiri that you want. Now, before I continue with the next cocktail, I'm just quickly gonna check if there's a couple of questions. Drinking a Quarantini Daiquirini as we speak. Good going, Simon. So let me check. Please show us how to make a pina colada. So a daiquiri I just showed you. A pina colada, I don't have a blender at home, but you don't have to blend your pina colada. You can also shake your pina colada. So maybe in the future I'm gonna add the pina colada also there. So I'm a Caribbean guy. I'm from the ABC Islands, Curacao, in the Caribbean. So I know how to make a proper pina colada for you guys. Keep that in mind. Let me check. So yeah, okay, so next cocktail is actually not specifically a rum cocktail. It is a vodka cocktail that I like drinking way more when you substitute the vodka with rum. And that's my personal preference, yeah? Don't shoot me, don't kill me, it's my personal preference, and it is the Espresso Martini. I like the Espresso Martini, I actually love the Espresso Martini, it's a great cocktail. But when you substitute that vodka and you add a nice aged or golden rum to it, it's gonna open up so much and you end up with something which is magical. So it's made actually exactly the same way as you make a espresso martini, except substitute the vodka with rum. So 30 mils of rum of your choice, 30 mils espresso. You might think if you don't have an espresso machine, I've basically just made it from my coffee machine. I have this groups, so it says zzz. So just espresso. You do not want to make a espresso martini with coffee or filter coffee or a Americano or something. No, it has to be a full body type of coffee. So espresso is perfect for it, not watered down coffee. Yeah, gonna end up with a watery cocktail. So again, 30 mils of that rum, 30 mils of espresso, 30 mils of a coffee liqueur of your choice, and the coffee liqueur that I'm gonna use today is Galliano Ristretto, still made in Torino, Italy, bottled here in Holland, and it's 55% Coffea Arabica, 45% Coffea Robusta, so it's nice, full body, creamy, thick type of coffee liqueur also, really good for those espresso martinis. So I'm gonna use that, and also to balance it all out, I'm just gonna add a tiny little bit of sugar, or else it's gonna be a little too bitter in coffee. Don't want that. So again, play with the amount of sugar that you want. If you want it a little more bitter, less sweet, add less sugar syrup. If you want it a little more sweet, I would go for a maximum of 10 to 15 mils of sugar syrup max. So also a shaken cocktail. So as you know by now, we start by first not shaking, but chilling the glass. There goes my ice. So chill the glass. You want your cocktail to be as cold as possible. And because this cocktail the cocktail in the glass doesn't contain any ice, it's gonna warm up really fast. So that's why I pre-chill the glass up front also. So I need that same rum, 30 mils. 30 mils of rum. And I need my freshly brewed espresso. Now keep in mind, if you want to make it on the spot, the espresso is hot. Either you give it time to chill down, or when you shake it with ice, it's gonna melt a lot of ice really quickly. So add a lot of ice to it to shock it basically, in order for it not to dilute way too much. Obviously you want dilution when you shake a cocktail, but you don't want to over dilute the drink. So make sure your espresso is either room temperature if you want to. So 30 mils of that straight in there. On the side, Galliano Ristretto coffee liqueur, 30 mils also. Whoops, a little too much. I'm at home, at the bar I don't do that. Yeah. And a tiny little bit of sugar. Now I'm gonna keep it to a maximum for me for 5 mils. I don't like my espresso martinis, even though it's with rum, I don't like it too sweet. So I'm just gonna add a tiny little bit of sugar to balance it out. Okay, so I'm ready to shake. Add my ice. And again, close it on an angle, never straight up. I can come closer to show you guys. Never straight up, always an open side, always a straight side, yeah? So make sure it's closed, one hand at the bottom, one hand at the top. Push it away from you and shake it back and forth. 10 seconds. And as you may have noticed, for the espresso martini, I've shaken it a tiny little bit harder, a little more vigorous. And why? Because I want those oils in there to be activated, and you get this beautiful, nice, thick crema layer also. So there you go. And again, if I would double strain it, if I had an extra strainer, I would double strain it. I don't have it, so that's why I single strain it for now at home. where you get this beautiful cocktail with an amazing, nice thick foam layer on top. Now, if you're one of the lucky ones that have a espresso machine, espresso maker at home, or a with coffee beans, please by all means garnish with 3 coffee beans. Yeah, I don't have them, but garnish with 3. Not 2, not 4, not 5, 3. 1 for love, 1 for health, and 1 for prosperity. Or sex, rock and roll, whatever you want, yeah? But just 3. Cool? So that is it. This is my rum espresso martini. That's amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Cocktails in the Kitchen. I'm just gonna double check if you guys have comments for me or questions for me. Let me just double check that. You're very welcome, guys. Enjoy that you guys live here. Okay, can you show us how to make the perfect whiskey sour or a amaretto sour next time? Great video, by the way. So I'm so sorry, Pishang. We've covered that already last episode, I think episode 2 or 3 if I'm not mistaken. So go check our videos on YouTube or on our Facebook page, Bowls Bartending, where we discuss how to make a whiskey sour and a variation which is amaretto sour also. So guys, thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook page, our Instagram, in order to stay updated for more information, about bartending and about cocktails. Thank you all very much, and I wish you a very, very beautiful day and happy drinking.